Hello everyone, my name is Mubo and I'm one of the certified Canadian immigration consultants at Maple Education Canada. So today we're going to be talking about studying in Canada with a third class OND and HND. So now for Canada, like most countries, we have three options when it comes to postgraduate studies. We have the postgraduate diploma. We call it the postgraduate diploma. It's also called the postgraduate certificate or a graduate certificate, and it's also called the post-baccalaureate program. So we also have the master's degree and PhD. For today, we are primarily focusing on postgraduate diplomas in Canada. So each option has a specific entry requirement. That's the postgraduate diploma, the master's, and the PhD. And then the program lengths vary from 1 year to 4 years, PhD being taking the longest time to complete. So what is a postgraduate diploma program? So postgraduate diploma programs are programs that you can do after you've completed post-secondary education. So if you have an OND, HND, or a bachelor's degree, you can apply for a postgraduate program. What are the benefits of studying a PGD in Canada? So the PGD program provides hands-on experience in a particular field and also is beneficial for career-oriented people, and it may be more affordable than a master's program and can be helpful for subject specializations. For example, you can have a PGD in cybersecurity, a PGD in business analysis, a PGD in the Internet of Things. So basically, these PGD programs are programs that are tailored for the job market. So this affords you an opportunity to get hands-on practical learning, and then you can now proceed to work. Also, the PGD programs are better suited for individuals who are not interested in research-based coursework. So if you wanted to pursue further academia and you wanted to become like a professor, then definitely the PGD programs are really not what you're looking for. That means you should be looking at a master's program because you want to go ahead and pursue a career in academia. So, but PGD programs are for people who are not particularly focused on going into academia. Basically, again, we are focusing on the practicality of the education, hands-on experience tailored for the job market. This is what the PGD programs are made for. So requirements for the PGD programs, for students with 2.2, we can apply. We even have students with 2.1 who still apply for a PGD program because of the benefits that I just previously mentioned. So we have 2.2, 2.1, third class can also apply. If you have your HND, you can also apply for the PGD programs. I will get into the HND requirements in the next couple of minutes. But typically the requirements are the WAEC results. Some schools require WAEC results in addition to the WAEC scratch card, your degree certificates, OND, HND certificates, and your transcripts, your resume, and data page of your passport. For HND graduates, we want you to have an upper or lower division. There are limited schools that accept pass, very limited schools that accept pass, very limited schools accept third class. And if they do accept third class, it will be for their business programs and not their IT programs. If you have a lower division or pass, it really affects the chances of getting admissions because we have limited options that we can apply to. So PGD programs are done at both university and colleges. The PGD programs are, however, more popular in the colleges, but they are also done at universities. Like, for example, York University has some PGD programs in business, supply chain management, human resources. So these are PGD programs that can be done at universities, but we, most of the time, our PGD students go to colleges. So it all depends on preference. The benefit of the PGD programs, again, is some PGD programs have co-op, which is very, very important. So it gives you the opportunity to apply what you've learned in school by having a work placement. So co-op is basically is part of the requirements for you to graduate. So for example, Lambton College has extensive programs, and they have up to 2-year PGD programs. PGD programs, we have 1 year, we have 2 years. The benefit of having a 2-year PGD program is because we can get the 3-year postgraduate work permit. You can also complete 2 separate 1-year PGD programs. So for example, I can have 1-year PGD in human resources management, and right after I can complete another PGD program, making it 2 years of studies to also qualify between 2 to 3 years for the postgraduate work permit. So yes, co-op. So for example, if I have a 2-year PGD program and it comes with co-op, so 1 semester or 2 semesters can be in school, and the 3rd semester can be a co-op term, or the 4th semester can be the co-op. So by the time you graduate, you still have the 2 years of study to qualify for the 3-year postgraduate work permit. It's also beneficial to always select programs that have co-op, because that also gives you work experience before you graduate. Depending on how well you do and if there's space available at where you do your co-op, that could also mean future employment for you. We've had a number of students who got employed after they did co-op at an establishment or a business, because they were able to work very hard, put in a lot of work, and the company recognized that they would be beneficial to them, so they were able to get hired after they finished the co-op program. On average, the PGD programs can start at 14,500 to all the way up to 22,000, depending on the program. The computer programs cost a bit more, like the cybersecurity, Internet of Things. Those IT programs typically cost a bit more than the business programs. So in addition to your tuition fees, you also have to worry about accommodation. So depending on the province that we get the school for you, or depending on the province where your school is situated, on average you can spend up to $1,000 at the minimum, to as high as like $3,000 for accommodation, feeding expenses, bus pass, so hydro, heating, internet. So those expenses can add up. There's also, for accommodation options, you have the option of staying on campus or off campus, whatever is most affordable for you. So on average, we need to budget about $31,000 for tuition, living expenses for 1 year. That's on average. It could be a bit lower depending on the tuition and then cost of living again. Okay, so we have a number of frequently asked questions, and one of the questions that we get is, I have an OND, can I study in Canada? Absolutely. If you have an OND, upper division, lower division, prefer upper division, then we can definitely look at getting you into a PGD program. Some PGD programs require that you have to have at least a 3-year diploma, which is an advanced diploma. We'll get into that later. That's a HND. So yes, with an OND, we can get you into a PGD program. Other questions we get is, what is an advanced diploma? An advanced diploma, this is completed after you graduate from secondary school. So an advanced diploma is a 3-year program. So advanced diplomas, sometimes depending on where you complete the advanced diploma, you can also transfer and get a bachelor's degree. So if there's some colleges have advanced diploma programs, and advanced diploma programs are 3 years long. So if the college has a degree option, you can transfer from the advanced diploma and transfer into the degree to get a bachelor's degree. Also, with the advanced diploma, you can also transfer to universities and also get a bachelor's degree. Okay, so the reason why advanced diplomas are also beneficial is affordability. For example, if you cannot afford to pay a whole 4 years of tuition, you can look at doing the advanced diploma, get your 3-year postgraduate work permit, work, then go back to school as a permanent resident, which greatly reduces your costs. This also applies to doing a 2-year diploma program, because colleges also have the 2-year diploma program, and they also have certificates. So predominantly international students apply for the 2-year diploma program. After the 2-year diploma program, you can become a permanent resident, so by getting your 3-year postgraduate work permit, and then you can now complete your bachelor's degree at a cheaper rate as a domestic student. Okay, so we typically advise the advanced diplomas are for people that have just like WAEC results, so they can go ahead and do an advanced diploma. So after an advanced diploma, what can you do? I just said you can either transfer to university or transfer within the college to get a degree, or you can go and do a PGD program. Because with an OND, with advanced diploma, you can go and do a postgraduate diploma program. I have an HND with a pass. I do not have any schools at this time that accept HND with a pass. So lower credit is what we can work with. Unfortunately, those grades are really low, and there are not that many schools that would accept a pass. So lower division typically is the minimum requirement that we can use to apply. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what it is. What are the master's admission requirements? Graduate programs in Canada are very competitive. We have just 100 universities, just about 100 universities. What are the master's admission requirements for Canada? You have to know that master's admissions, master's programs are quite competitive in Canada. The higher your grade, the higher your chances of getting into a master's program. I've seen students even have first class that didn't get into a master's program, depending on how competitive the program that you are applying for is. So students, typically the minimum requirement for a master's program is the 70 to 75% CGPA, or 3.5 out of 5. Which is typically about a 2-1. This is typically the minimum requirement. So just because you have the minimum requirement doesn't mean you're going to get into the master's program. They are actually paying attention to not only your overall grade, but they are also looking at your last 2 years of studies. Is your last 2 years of studies equals the 70% or 75% requirement? Also, they are looking at your research abilities. Do you have strong research skills for the research-based master's programs? Do you have strong references, references that can support what you've done academically or what you've done professionally? So this does not mean that if you have a 2-2, you cannot get in. However, it is extremely competitive. So how strong is your statement, your letter of intent, or your statement of purpose for that particular program? Have you done research in a particular area that makes you stand out? Do you have publications? So these kind of things will help you to get into a master's program in Canada. So another question is, if I have an HND, can I apply for a master's program? Again, you can try for a research-based master's program, but if you look at the requirements, most of the universities state that minimum requirements to apply for a master's program is a bachelor's degree. Not only is a bachelor's degree, but again, I also mentioned the previous grades requirements. So if you are coming in there with an HND, then you must have substantial research experience, work experience. Like, you really have to stand out and sell yourself to a professor who will be willing to be your supervisor. But typically the minimum requirement for master's programs is a bachelor's degree. Another question we get is, can I study something different in a PGD from my first degree? Yes, you can. So when we are looking at selecting a postgraduate course, we are looking at the student's previous education and the student's work experience. So for example, I can have a student who studied business, but they have some work experience in IT. They were able to get into IT, but self-taught IT. They can apply for an information technology program. So we have an information technology program that does not require previous IT education, like a computer science degree or computer science HND. So when we are looking at the PhD programs, again, we look at what it is that you've done, you have work experience in that program, or you have previous education in that program. Okay, so I think I've covered everything, but we're more than happy to walk you through the admission process. Our contact information will be on the screen. We are committed to your success. So together we'll find something that works for you and is also beneficial to the visa process. Thank you so much.